That's what day it is. It's Marvel Day. And it's officially Cinesweet Day 10. More on that soon. Alex. Morning walk. Shaw's still sleepy, so it's just me and Chunky. He had the Grayskull call last night, so he's resting. We're getting our morning exercise. Well, Zen's morning exercise, and then I'll actually do my workout. But yes, we're excited. Thunderbolts Day.
Hi. Why are we vlogging?
So, we are now on our exercise walk. He's awake now. So, part one was with Zenny, and now we're on our exercise walk. Got water, got a lake.
By the guy rowing in the boat that I want to be doing right now.
Oh, by the guy rowing in the boat over there.
I want to be doing that right now.
And now he's found a new calling in life, apparently. Absolutely. He's excited.
We haven't gone canoeing yet. We need to go canoeing.
Okay. So, we're going canoeing. Yeah, because we couldn't see you.
It's probably a good thing.
Oh, whatever. So,
great conversation this morning, too. Huh?
Yes, wonderful conversation. We talked about dopamine and addiction. More on that soon. Okay. Yeah, this is just a quick. Touch base. We are in the parking lot.
What was that?
We're not going to talk about that. We're in the parking lot. And there's about 5 minutes till the commercials start rolling for our showing. We got our hoodies because it's 80 degrees outside, but it is always 2 degrees in the theater. We got our IA-28 hoodies. We're matching today. We both have bulletproof to the BS. So called her the potty mouth, which will make a party mouth collection. And that probably sounds all kinds of wrong, but we are here and we are ready to see the Thunderbolts asterisk. And yeah, we ordered our food ahead of time and we getting ready to go.
Let's go, mama.
Let's go. Us in the glare, but we here to see them peoples. No. All right. So take one was a fail. The first 20-30 minutes of our movie, the 3D was broken, and it took a bunch of back and forth with them for them to figure out that somebody had misaligned the reel, the tape, whatever. So about 20-30 minutes in, the visual got fixed, but we missed bits and pieces of it because we couldn't get past the fact that it was broken 3D and that we had to leave to go make the complaint about it. So we've got free return tickets to come see it again. So we're gonna come back and see it again. Two of them. Okay, he was ready for me to snitch on him. He also fell asleep after. You ain't supposed to say it. Okay, the one thing I will say is that we appreciated the message of it takes community to get through the darkness, but we're gonna piggyback on that when we actually get to see the whole movie. But yeah, promising. So take two. Out doing our morning walk with the chunky guy, and today Bip is with us. Bright and early, not quite bright and early. It's a little late actually, but we gonna get into it.
Bright and early for me. I went to bed late.
Yeah, he went to bed at 6, so it is bright and early for him. Yeah. So we're gonna try again and go see our movie since the 3D was all wrong.
That's the only reason.
Right. Yeah. Anywho, here we go.
Nothing's gonna stop us.
Come on. There we go.
Pretty good at that. I'll show you what she did in a second. She'll show you.
Here?
Yep.
And that's what it is.
I don't know what that is.
Pick that bottle up.
Tonight we have Zen. And you want me to sing a duet with him, so hey Zen. Come here. Heel. You have to sit. He's not sitting.
He has no idea what's going on.
Sit, Zen. Let's sing our song. Ready? Nothing's gonna stop us.
How do you feel?
It didn't work.
You commanded the stage.
No, not this time. Close though. I'm gonna keep practicing. Merriweather Post Pavilion too. Let's go.
Got a nice breeze.
Nice breezy.
Zen is like, yeah, I don't know about that. He breathing hard. Like, listen, y'all.
Hard pass.
Round two. Success. Success this time. We got it. Okay. And this time, one more time, because we actually saw the movie. I think it was great. What do you think? Just quick rapid fire. Out of 10.
I'll give it 8.
I was gonna say I give it a 9. 8.5. Okay.
Yeah, 8.5. I can't think of any knocks. Really, I mean, they were the beefing.
Yeah, I can't think of many knocks. I think there were some parts where maybe it got a little slow, but all in all, like this was damn near a 10 out of 10 for me.
For Marvel, wow.
Compared to what has come out recently, in comparison of Marvel, I give it a 10. But in terms of everything else that Marvel has put out, you know, in the scheme of the Marvel verse, the cinematic universe, then I give it about a 8-9. So still strong.
So what movie has it beaten out for you?
What movie has it beaten out? The most recent Captain America.
Oh, that's easy.
Quantumania, like almost everything in the past few years, it definitely put to bed.
Wakanda Forever?
Yeah, Wakanda Forever, like that was a 7-8 for me. Like it was good, but it was also freaking traumatizing. Like
it was a movie about trauma and pain.
Exactly. I don't come to Marvel for that. They was a little too off brand for me. It was a little too real.
Well, the ending was kind of corny.
Yeah, and I didn't love the ending, and I didn't love where that left us, and I also didn't love losing everybody we lost. Like Queen Mother, that was too much. That went way over the top. That was a violation.
That's not too far.
Absolutely not. Could not tolerate. Look, I'm matching you.
Look at you.
Okay, I don't know why I buckled up, because now we gotta talk and not do just the real quick. Oh, the mic's not hooked up yet.
Possibly. Okay, yeah, it might be bad.
It wasn't even recording. Okay, so taking 3 or 4, however many it is at this point. So you rated it at 8.5. I said 9, 8, closer to a 9. First things first, I just have to say it, hot take. DeFontaine should not have made it out of the movie. I was ready to see her go.
But props to her for being able to fight.
Seeing it again, take 2, seeing the ending twice, I was like, she should not have made it out the movie. I was ready to see her take a 1-2 punch by anybody.
Yelena deserved it.
Yelena deserved to have taken, like, anybody, Bucky should have held her, and Yelena just should have, new punching bag, been able to get it all out. Because, listen.
Bucky would have been wrong. Ghost should have held her.
Bucky wouldn't have been wrong. She basically tried to kill him too. Cause when they turned that automatic around and was shooting at him too when he was on the bike.
Could have been assault though. He get for a man to.
You know what? Listen, DeFontaine should not. Also, I thought her name was different. I could have sworn the name Contessa was in there somewhere in one of the scenes that they showed. In one of the other movies, cut short scenes, I could have sworn Contessa was part of her name.
Yeah, Valentina threw me off.
And I thought it was Valentina something, Contessa DeFontaine, and now, yeah, now we got to go back and watch everything else she's been in, because I could have sworn Contessa was in her name. Also, side note, we watch Elsbeth, so it was cool to see Captain not be Captain, but still be in a governmental law enforcement role. Like, good on him. Don't know the actor's name, but it was great.
And he said shit, but he didn't stretch it this time.
Yeah, he didn't do remember we said that's not the same guy.
That's not signature shit.
No, he looks like him.
That's
anyway,
right. Oops.
Not all black people look alike. So
we look a little bit alike.
So, I guess, do you want to start from the back forward or the forward back? Or forward present?
I'm going to let you drive.
Okay.
You're doing a great job driving.
So, opening, seeing it for the second time, seeing the Yelena fall properly, it was beautiful. It was ballet, like that, had her toe pointed and everything, just the grace. It was beautiful. I love the voiceover and how they really brought us into her world. I thought it was hilarious the way they tied her comedy into it as well. The one thing I will say that would kind of bring it to an 8 for me is I was not obsessed with all of the fight scenes. Like, her initial fight scene moving through that hallway did not move me. And I think any fight scene I see in a hallway or like a corridor, I'm always going to compare it to some of those legendary Avengers corridor fight scenes, because they have choreographed some incredible fight scene work, especially I'm blanking on which movie it was, but Cap fighting himself and everybody winding up in that sort of glass corridor, and yeah, so. And there's a couple others where just the fight.
ScarJo's first hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2.
Exactly. And so, because they've done, and I know, different people, different characters, different choreographers, but still, like, they have a bar. or at least they've set a bar with like fight scenes. And I feel like that hallway fight scene, like there was movement and action, but there was just something about it that it wasn't riveting. It didn't grab me. It was just like, okay. And maybe that was,
wow, you never got impressed.
yeah. And I think maybe that was part of it, was like, okay, it's drab, it's blah. She's over it. She's over her work. It's just like, okay, like she says in the end, like I'm clocking in. I'm just doing what I got to do. I'm depressed. But even then, like just usually Marvel action is like riveting, grab you in the spirit, like, ooh, now I want to go jump off some and do that at home. Didn't give me that, especially not in that first fight scene. But again, like I said, her comedy brought me in. Seeing her talking to homie she had duct taped up in the lab and getting upset with him for not listening was spectacular. Yelena kind of comedy. It took me back to her sneaking up and scaring Kate Bishop in her apartment and then proceeding to eat her pasta, her mac and cheese, with sriracha in it. It gave me like, okay, Florence Poe is a beast. She's giving us Yelena, like she is really, and Yelena who's really Elena or Elena, like she gave us that, the character that she's built as Yelena, like she really baked that in and gave us that same sort of dry, crass humor that you can't help but laugh at. Something else I mentioned to Babe on the way out was, I wish we would have seen the guinea pig one more time. So this is jumping to the end again, but since she saved the guinea pig in those first few paces of the movie, and that essentially the first scene, still in the first part of the story, I wish we would have seen the guinea pig one more time, since we see her carry it out in her sweat jacket.
That would have been like, perfect if Bob was holding it while he was reading the
book. Like if he was in the Avengers Tower, well now the Watchtower, whatever they're gonna call it, had he been in there, you know, guinea pig chilling on Bob's shoulder while he was reading Rick Rubin's book, like I was like, wait, I know this book. He's reading The Creative Act. Wow. Love to see it.
That was wild.
Yeah, but I would have loved to see the guinea pig just, you know, like one more time, or when she showed up, you know, to Alexi's house, if she'd had him and been like, hey, can you take care of him, Dad? Like, you know, something. Like, I would have just liked to see the guinea pig again. But anyway, getting off topic, yeah, and then the rest of that lab fighting scene, I was like, okay, like getting more of the concept of, okay, she's just kind of over it. Like she didn't really go fisticuffs with the lab coat dude. She really was just kind of like, okay, I'm over it. I need your face anyway. So how do we, you know, get through this, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, even that scene didn't really move me. It wasn't exciting. And again, maybe that was the point. But I was kind of like, I could have skipped her interaction with him. Could have done without it. It was like,
Now, she didn't, when she shot him in the face.
It was an accident.
It was an accident, right? Or he shot himself in the face. Like, I wonder what that would have done to the story arc had she gotten his face recognition and gotten in there. Like, would she have learned more about Sentry on the project? And
why was she trying to get in there too? That it also left that question, like, why did she need to get into that test room?
Yeah, what was the mission? What was the mission, especially since they brought that test room back later?
And since
they didn't tie it together well enough.
And since she said in that room that first time, the fact that she brought up train of thought. The fact that she had brought up that it didn't matter, that the direction, that the assignment didn't give directions for how to destroy the evidence. Because before she flicked off the bomb, before she got interrupted by lab coat, she was like, well, the assignment didn't say how to destroy the evidence, so this is gonna get messy. Like, so why she needed the space scanner to get into the room if her mission was to destroy everything. Like, yeah, it still leaves, like you said, that big question why need to get into the test room if your job was to destroy everything anyway.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was just to destroy small, simple stuff, but she destroyed a whole floor of the building. Interesting.
Also, I love how second time around, I noticed that the shadows were already in that room that she was in when they go back into Bob's mind later. as he's like full on Sentry and the Void is taken over. The fact that we get to see early on that the damage was already done, this was already there, like this memory was like real live, actually happened. I thought that was cool seeing it on second take. And then moving into I think the next big moment for me was her bringing in with Alexi. Like him talking about DoorDash, your insubordination. I'm gonna leave. Like, oh my God, I gagged when he used the dish soap to brush his teeth with his finger real quick.
That was excellent.
Oh my gosh.
That was one of the best Bachelor moves ever. I don't know who thought of that, but they got points for that. Major comedy points for that.
That was insanity.
So, before you go too much further, between this and the original Avengers, do you have any thoughts?
I feel like I can't compare them. Like, I feel like they're two completely different beasts. Like, truly, they are the Dark Avengers. They don't comprise similarly to the original Avengers. Kind of like Sentry pointed out, one is a god, and several others of them are like specially enhanced in some sort of way. But really, the Dark Avengers, okay, there's 3 super soldiers, but they've all got really, really dark, harrowing pasts. And then you've got Ghost, who we've still not had much of her story really elaborated on in a way that's impactful, that we can have a feeling one way or another about her. And then we have Yelena, who we know based on the Black Widow movie and the little bits that have been sprinkled in with Hawkeye, that she's just as dark as the other 3 super soldiers, but instead of a super soldier, she's a widow. And we know that she has this sort of balance of, like, before this movie, seeming to still have some sort of a hopeful tint. Like, she was the one telling Natasha, like, you know, don't say that, don't say we're not a family, don't say that, you know, everything just goes to, you know, crap and there's nothing we can do. Like, she was the one who was always kind of leaning towards the glass half full, and this movie was the first time we really saw her just being like, yeah, no, there's nothing left. Abysmal. So we got more on her character development and story arc. Like, we saw her spiraling in Hawkeye and trying to get to the bottom of Natasha's death, and now it's like she going through the stages of grief. Like, we see her at the acceptance and depression place of it. Like, okay, like, it's just done, and so life is over. Like, there's no point. So I think I don't really see how we could compare it to the original Avengers, because there is such a drastic difference between the new Avengers, the Dark Avengers, the Thunderbolts, versus the original Avengers. And yes, the original Avengers all had their story, their struggle, they all had redemption, but it was very, very different than, like, all of these new Avengers are straight up black op agent, mercenary, like, in real time have still been, like, Natasha, the ledger is dripping red.
And they didn't have any backstories fleshed out either. Their backstories were kind of penciled in through other movies, but as B characters. And
I think that's the other thing, is all of them are B characters and villains that are having somewhat of a redemption recovery arc, but are still, like, 2 seconds ago, were villains. Side note, John Walker plays his character. The man who plays John Walker plays his character so well that he's one of those people that I borderline can't stand, borderline hate, because why on earth do you play that character so well? Like, I'm doing my best not to cuss, but yeah, that he definitely gives the infamous Obama quote. He's a jack, fill in the blank. Yeah, because homie. Also, I love how, back to the movie, this is going to be an all over the place review. Back to the movie, where they kind of, what I realized on the second time around seeing it, how they tied into a reason why Bob, aka Sentry, might have been so triggered by Walker was also because in that scene where we hear him and Yelena seeing his dad fighting with his mom, he called him Bobby and said, Bobby, you always get in the way. And then his mom saying Bobby, everything gets worse, but that his dad like used Bobby as almost like a slur or a negative thing. Like he was abused hearing that name. And then John Walker came at him with that same energy of like, talk to me, and we know he's alcoholic and he's angry and he has issues.
And
that he's aggressive. Yeah. And so seeing that similarity.
Bad parent.
Yeah, so seeing that similarity. Also, I loved Bucky laying him out, being like, listen, I know you got your issues and your wife left you and took your kid. The slow head turn from Yelena. And Ghost being like, oh, so all that you was talking about, oh, you just gotta keep going. That was why your advice was so whack when we said, how do you do it? You don't. That was just so good. Such poetic justice. And the way Bucky just, without flinching. And then also just the collective, them being like, look, it was Bob, Sentry, it was Bob. And Bucky just being like, yeah, he's scary, he's bad. And then they'll be on the phone being like, yeah, so Bob. He's like, I keep hearing about this Bob. And they're like, yeah, Bob. He's like, we've been trying to tell you. Bob. Like, I thought that was great. I also, another favorite part, whoever the guy is who's on the impeachment board, who we saw a bunch of times, his character, when Bucky commandeers him in the corner between the cameras, he cusses at him. He's like, ish, Bucky. Because Bucky grabbed him to pull him into the cut. That was hysterical.
They scared the ish out of him.
Like, that was hysterical. Well, I thought that was not just because he scared the ish out of him, but because he grabbed him and he's a super soldier. And I was like, we couldn't tell what arm he grabbed him with, so he could have grabbed him with that vibranium arm. So I thought that ish also could have been like, not only did you scare me, but you just grabbed me up with your super soldier self and swung me in this corner.
I'm surprised he didn't have a wet spot on the front of his tux. So, Alexi, Bucky, Yelena's intro. Ghost didn't really get an intro. She got brought in through other characters.
Before we go, speaking of Ghost, Taskmaster, I got beef with the fact that Taskmaster went out like that in the beginning. Like, she got all of 5 seconds, and in the first 20 minutes, we lost homie. Like, what? And my thoughts about that are, if anybody could have, like, knuckled up and done better with facing Sentry or Void, would have been Taskmaster, since part of Taskmaster's thing is being able to calculate movements and adjust or counterattack or match your movements. If anything, I felt like Taskmaster would have been one of the only ones who would not have struggled as bad or could have avoided getting done in as bad as everybody else did. Because she could have calculated and seen that coming.
Well, that's the point, to make it seem more impossible. And make it seem impossible.
Because, seeing her get gone, and then also Ghost just being like, oh, you knew her? Like, wait, what?
My bad.
Bruh. And then Yelena being like, yo, can you show some respect? Like, the fact that they stripping her down for, like, resources, that was crazy work. Crazy work.
That's the military way, though.
Crazy.
That was a picture of the too. Always pat him down after dinner.
Oh.
Yeah. I was very unhappy with the fact that she died, but I loved her action, though. I will say. I watched her fight scenes closely this time around. Seeing the way she was working that shield, incredible.
I was like, wait a minute, that gave her a shield?
And she got one in the comics, but she was working that shield well against John. And having her and John, that was a perfect pair up.
Face off, yeah. Especially with the shields. I was like, she giving me Steve Rogers vibes with this shield. Like, she is making it work, okay? Yeah.
More than John, right?
Oh, yeah, no, she was handling it.
Because John, we saw him with the shield, but he didn't really do anything
useless. All he did was use it not to get shot up.
You know, there's nothing exceptional he did with the shield.
But the way she was bouncing that joint, tossing it, like she had that Steve Rogers energy with that shield all the way down. Yeah.
And also, for setting the stakes for the movie, they did a great job with her dying, because they'll let you know, oh, this movie's about to be real. Except nobody else died after that. I think I kind of would have liked one other person to die.
That's why Contessa should not have made it.
Well, I think she was the easy one. Everybody knows her being kind of easy. But I do feel like I don't really want to see her anymore. I don't care to see her anymore.
Yeah. And they've already let us know that her character is super slimy, grimy, and has been, like she was ready to be the next, I'm going to take over the world. And yeah, we've just seen it. I also thought it was interesting that in her court hearing, she mentioned that America or the U.S. and the world needs a shield. Mm-hmm. Like it seemed very poignant and purposeful, intentional that she used the word shield of all things, especially on the heels of saying the Avengers aren't coming back. That's over. And we need a shield.
Oh, wow. You know what? What's even funny about that is I was expecting to see Clark Gregg or Coulson and possibly Baby in this movie. I had that. You remember I had that prediction a while back? So, yeah, that's interesting.
Coulson, the man who doesn't die. Or at least never fully. Because, yeah, we went back and rewatched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so completely different perspective and take on, like, what's happening right now in MCU.
Yeah. Agent 567. Season 567. So I had to make a look at my notes and talk to you about those.
So,
okay, I don't know if I
also, how Bob came in the picture, like the fact that homie just came out coughing and hacking and confused is all get out. Like, again, comedic timing, just hilarious, and just everything all throughout the movie just being like, that chose the perfect name for him. Like, all throughout the movie, just Bob, 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 Bob this, Bob that, Bob. Like, that was exquisite.
That was one of the Marvel comedy back pretty well. Like, they were known pretty well for their comedy early on. And the way they played the Bob thing, especially for a character as serious as Century, because in the comics, he's serious.
That's another thing that I would say that I didn't love that would maybe bring my rating down to an 8 was I didn't love how Void looked. I felt like Void was like, nah. He kind of gave me Nightcrawler vibes a couple times when they showed just his darkness and his eyes shining through a little bit. But it didn't quite give me scary. Like, I couldn't quite take it serious. I was just kind of like, okay, he's a shadow. Now, seeing him turn other people into shadows, that gave creepy, scary Friday the 13th vibes. But him himself, and especially when there was close-ups, it was like, okay, something is missing. Like, there's some depth, there's something missing. Baby. That was part of it. Part of that was what made it feel like almost gave me Spot vibes. Like, kind of silly. Wow. I'm not scared. And again, I feel like maybe this is one of those places where people be like, Disney, it's been too Disney-fied. Like, he didn't feel scary to me. He didn't feel terrifying to me. He didn't feel overwhelming. Now, granted, going into the different rooms that the Void created, they did do well with, generating some angst, discomfort, and like, yo, this is crazy. And like when the room was cutting up and like when that wall, the ceiling grabbed Yelena, like, okay. But Void himself was not scary.
Really? I don't think I was looking for scary on it, and I don't really have any commentary on the way they did them. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was creative. It worked for me, but I wasn't impressed. I also wasn't disappointed. What was just I hooked up the tape though was chicken thing. Like yesterday, I was like, how does this chicken suit make sense?
The chicken suit?
Yeah, remember the guy in the chicken suit, the mascot?
Oh, yes, that he was on meth in the chicken suit. Like, it's a summer job.
Yeah. But I didn't catch it early on yesterday, so it didn't connect to me. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's hilarious that they brought that back. And then at the end of the movie,
the chicken on Bucky's shoulder.
The drawn chicken.
And the mustache drawn on Walker.
Well, I missed the mustache. Now I gotta go back to that.
But yeah, no, the chicken, that was crazy. And what do you mean that you got it? Like, you didn't get the context of it?
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's just weird to have this chicken random in there.
No, that was the story that he shared earlier in the movie when Yelena was like, does anybody else have any pointless childhood stories to share? And he was like, I was in a chicken suit on meth.
Yeah, it didn't connect to the fighting chick, and I just didn't hear the line or anything. I must have zoned out when the line was made and stuff like that.
Fell asleep. Fell asleep.
We're using zoned out. What?
And then the other thing that confused me was, I think Val's assistant's name was Mel. I think.
Why do I keep dropping my mic?
How do you keep dropping it? Anyway, her assistant, what threw me off was her assistant, like how Val handled her assistant and being quote unquote unloyal. How that was just kind of left a gray area. Like she was just like, yeah, let me know when you've gotten yourself together. Whereas you're actively sending a kill squad after your former mercenaries, and you're just going to let your former assistant who knows all of your everything just,
your biggest loose end.
you're having loyalty issues. Go figure that out. Like, go have a timeout. Like, that part didn't really make sense. And then when Bucky asked about her and she was just like, oh yeah, she's having some loyalty issues, it was just like, there was no, it just made me very confused about.
Is it because there's no resolution now?
Yeah, and then her coming back to save her, like, my thought was, like, were we supposed to guess, like, off screen, like, she wasn't able to leave, or she was held captive, or, like, was she put in a timeout room and was like, okay, until you come to your sense. Like, it just made no sense. It was like, they had that conversation, Valentina walked away from her, we didn't see her again, Bucky and Co show up, have their tussle. Valentina asked, he asked Valentina, where she's at before they tussle. And she's just like, oh, she's having some loyalty issues. She got to figure it out. But at least before that, she lured you guys here. Like, it made it seem like either something had happened, or just because the last thing we saw was the fact that she was fine and Valentina had just walked away. It seemed weird. And then seeing her come back in and save her, and Valentina still talking to her crazy after Void almost choked her out, and talking about now help me up. I'd have been like, no. Rude. You would have just died just then had I not come in and hit this kill switch button.
Now, there is the fact that Valentina could fight, and we didn't see any signs that Mel could fight. So maybe she's physically scared of her, as well as being scared of what she can do politically and with her systematic powers.
But also the fact that she gave her a choice. Like, it wasn't menacing, it wasn't scary, it was just, let me know when you come to your senses. Like, Val just expected, even though she was willing to go talk to Bucky, that she was just going to come back and be on board. And the fact that if you're so serious about tying up loose ends, if that's who you are as a person, that should have meant that she was just immediately out and you needed to just get rid of her and find a new assistant, because at any moment, who's to say that she wouldn't decide to have a heart again, right? And be like, I can't do this. Especially since she already let you know that she believes in there being a good guy and there being a way to do things without harming people. Like, she's already let you know that your ethos don't align.
Yeah.
So that part was weird to me. What else? And this is just our off the cuff, immediate reaction, immediate thoughts. We will watch it again to get a deeper dive later.
It did make me mad that I watched trailers and
Bucky, speaking of trailers, Bucky getting his arm out of the dishwasher, that was chef's kiss. Like, I would have never expected that, especially after just spilling whatever he was eating all over himself and the packet, especially after homie had been like, read the packets. And he was just like, massive eye roll. So as he's sitting there trying to eat the packets with his good shirt still on, just dripping, spillaging all over himself and the papers. And then just seeing him pull his arm out the dishwasher and do his good old Bucky getting his arm back in there, like, that was hilarious. Also, Bucky getting beat with his own arm, that was crazy.
Getting knocked out with his own arm.
Sentry giving him whiplash with his own arm. Insanity. Another one of those lines where it's like, contextually, maybe this didn't make sense, but since it seemed like when Sentry was holding his hand, it was heating up. I don't know if vibranium has a different melting point, but it seemed like he shouldn't have just been able to put his arm back on when they got out the building and it'd been okay. Like, it seemed like something should have been fried.
Some issues with it.
Yeah, because we saw that thing turn orange in the fist where Sentry was holding it. And then also the fact that he did, it wasn't Bucky disconnecting his arm. Homie ripped that joint out. So the fact that he was able to just sling it back on and it was fine, that felt a little like contextually off. So that was another one of those things that was like, yeah, okay. We could have, done something a little different, a little better with that. What else? Are we missing anything
that stands out? I mean, I love Bucky's entrance to the fight part of the movie with the motorcycle. But I saw that so many times on
the motorcycle entry was absolutely divine. Seeing that for the first time yesterday, I was so happy to see Bucky. I was like, yes, give us the good old days Winter Soldier vibes. I also couldn't help but think about the BTS we had already seen where they were talking about how they filmed that scene and how the stunt double was riding it with the helmet with the Bucky wig on and how it just looked crazy. Yes. That was all I was thinking about after I got over the initial funny. Oh my God. All I was thinking about was, wow, there's a stunt double riding this with a wig.
Looking crazy. Looking crazy. Like a huge head with the wig on.
Exactly. So that was all I was thinking about. After I got over the excitement of like, yes, give us that good old Winter Soldier juice, like here for it. Because Bucky stole my heart. Winter Soldier, I was like, oh, like that's now this is a villain. Like this is an origin story. Like, okay, let's go.
That's still a top 5 Marvel movie.
Yeah. So so getting that little feeling back, seeing him barreling down on that motorcycle. Oh, and that was another thing that kind of made me sad. And I guess that was the point with them, going fisticuffs with Sentry. But I was ready to see more of Bucky's knife work. Like, I was so sad we didn't get to see much of it in that fight. And I guess because Sentry's supposed to be impenetrable, so nothing could happen. The few times he pulled out his knife, it was just sad that we didn't get to see some of that good old juicy, like, see a bunch of moves get in. And I guess that was the point because Sentry was just impenetrable. But I would have rather seen Bucky try to go at him versus watching Alexei, who did go at him and chip his knife away. Like, that was just kind of goofy. And I know that's kind of the point of Alexei, is to just kind of be useless and goofy. I would have much rather seen like Bucky really get into it, attempting with the knife.
I was impressed with Alexei in the fight when they first broke into the tower, when they drove the truck into the watchtower and watching Alexei with, was it nunchucks?
I couldn't tell what it was. Yeah. That was another fight scene that let me down a little bit, especially the moments with Ghost. I just felt like Ghost fighting in that scene was just kind of like, womp womp. Like, I was not moved by Ghost's combat.
I loved her in the opening scene, though, the way they used her.
Yeah, the way they used her in the opening scene
how she ran through John,
was pretty
they get to Taskmaster was dope.
Yeah, but I felt like that, it kind of fell flat for me.
And then the way she killed Taskmaster was, okay, it makes sense.
Oof, yeah, that was dark.
Yeah, but it made perfect sense. It was like, oh, wow, yeah. Damn, she did it. If anybody was
and the fact that she was the only one who completed her mission. Like, she said her mission was, and how she was like, okay, I can go. That was my mission. And how Yelena was like, oh, well, you were mine, so you're not going nowhere. That was all very interesting, that out of everybody, Ghost was the only one that actually completed their mission from Valentina.
Yeah.
Even though none of them were ever going to make it out of it. It was just, I thought that was interesting that Ghost was the only one. But yes, I did not love how they utilized her in the box truck entering the Avengers Tower scene.
Something else interesting with Val being a CIA
head.
I figured she would know about Alexei. If she knows, if she's watching Yelena, she should know about Alexei. And I would assume she probably would have known Yelena told Alexei that she was working for her. So why wasn't he on her kill list?
But I think showing how cocky she was, I think she would have just been like, he's nobody, no reason to worry, don't care, shrug. Because also the way she was, but the fact that she was like, who? But I also was like, that could have just been her being a prick. Like, I was like, I felt like that could have very well also just been part of it. Like,
yeah, she would have had to know about him.
Especially since we see how her whole intention had been just to kill all of them. Like, I think for her, it's just like, you're not even a threat.
And how do you create a super soldier without knowing the history of the super soldier program? I think everybody who's been creating super soldiers should know.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. I also thought, again, carrying on his whole thing, his fixation with Captain America, carrying that into his conversation with John Walker, and then carrying that into, Red Guardian, carrying that into his conversation with John Walker and with Bucky, and being like, yeah, so which serum did you get? And he was like, I don't know, the regular one. He was like, from where? Hydra. Oh, Hydra, yeah. I got the remix from Russia, but same, different, but same. It was like, yo, this man is hilarious.
No, he's an excellent actor. He's the perfect actor for that role.
Oh, and the post-credit scene or the end where he's like the Wheaties box. It was like, and you just get so cringed, but it was perfect. And laughing at the fact that, dude, you have a helmet on. Of course.
And you have your beard shaved.
Yeah. Also, that was a hilarious moment, too, with in the back of the box truck, Ghost and Yelena and Walker and him everybody talking about, the equipment they use. And again, that was excellent. Yelena being like, okay, we've all swung our our small wee-wees. We've all swung our small wee-wees. You go here, you go here.
That was excellent.
I literally laughed out loud so hard yesterday when we saw it the first time. Like, I could not believe I just watched in a movie theater, but I laughed so hard. Like, it took a minute for me to control my laughter. The fact, like, that caught me so off guard. And she did it in her classic Yelena, like, dry humor way. She was like, okay, we've all slung our small, that was hysterical.
Yeah.
But yeah, and how they harken back to that in the back of the box truck when they're all showing their equipment, and she's talking about, I use a 9 and then my spider bites, and Walker's like, oh yeah, I remember, and then he pulls out his, and they're like, oh yeah, with the extended barrel, so long, so big. And how they kind of clown him about that too, and he was like, well yeah, I guess it is kind of long, I guess it is kind of big. He was like, and then I use this and this, and then Yelena like, and what about the hat? And he was like, the hat? Oh, the helmet, you like it? And they're like, well, do you like it? He's like, yeah, I think the helmet is cool. And then how Yelena and Ghost are like, yeah, that is great. The hat is great. And how she keeps calling it a hat instead of a helmet. I was like, that is hilarious. And how they tie that in at the end where he's wearing something that's more like a beret type of hat instead of the helmet. I was like, that is hilarious. And I think nodding to them being not quite Avengers, Alexi's whole spiel about, I figured out the copyright issue with a Z. And then Yelena being like, and this is why we are the Avengers with a Z. And then tying in the Fantastic Four, I have to say, I am just so unenthused and disinterested in this rendition of the Fantastic Four. Like, we saw the preview sitting in this movie. The preview for it was in this one. And I have to say, I am still not excited about a single character. The only thing that piqued my interest was the fact that the Silver Surfer is a woman. But outside of that, I was just like, none of these characters are making me excited. I do not feel invested. The only reason why I'm seeing it is to have the storyline through line, to know the connotation and the continuity for everything else that's coming. But whole, I am so disappointed with Pedro Pascal being Mr. Fantastic, like, cast as Reed Richards. Loved him as the Mandalorian. Keep him with Grogu. I didn't need this Disney crossover. I did not need to see Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. He does not give me Reed Richards vibes. I just in no way, shape, or form. And reading Reed Richards off of him. Also seeing all of their powers in use in this trailer. Was not excited. Did not look exciting. I'm not invested in Sue Storm. Like, seeing the way her Invisible Woman, the way it looked in the trailer, and yes, the CGI and everything could not be fixed. That blah, 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 blah. The whole regular spiel. I still am not invested in her. Johnny Storm, the bar was set by Captain America, Steve Rogers, the original Human Torch. He really did such a good job. Like, what is his name? Chris Evans really is an exquisite actor in each character in Marvel that he has done. He has done justice. He's been an incredible Steve Rogers, and he was an immaculate Human Torch. And I just, this is such a letdown. I am not invested in this Human Torch, and I'm not invested in this thing. Like, again, my personal favorite was the original. I liked how they were able to create his formation and what he looked like, and it really made you relate to the fact of his storyline of feeling so isolated and not being able to relate to everybody else. Like, seeing how he looked in that original movie, it made his pain and his story arc make sense. Seeing this thing, I just want to laugh, and I get it. Maybe it's more comic book and cartoon accurate. Like, he looks more cartoony.
Yes, I was gonna say that's what it is. He's more comic book accurate version.
Just cannot. I don't like the way it looks. I cannot stand it. And seeing him run under that building and knock out those pillars, it did not excite me.
Not wowing.
It wasn't wowing. Seeing a Reed Richards stretch was like womp womp.
That's a big
Seeing
womp womp.
Sue Storm go invisible was womp womp.
Was she going invisible, or was she just using like a force field?
It looked like both, because she kind of disappeared. It was like it looked like they were trying to show both at the same time, and either way, it just wasn't giving what it needed to give. And then seeing Johnny take off, flamed on, was not exciting either. Like, truly, to me, the Silver Surfer was the only thing that looked kind of interesting and intriguing in the whole commercial, whatever it's called, trailer. That was the Silver Surfer was the only. Oh yeah, we had a whole thing earlier about what the things before a movie are called: commercial, trailer, anyway, moving on. Literally, I just so sad and so not looking forward to the Fantastic Four, and I'm literally just going so I have the context for everything else that's coming, Marvel related, and just in general, I'm so sad.
I'm hoping
that I'm not excited.
I'm hoping to at least see the first glimpse of Doctor Doom. I won't say I'm excited, but I'm hoping to see it because that curiosity is definitely a pain in the butt.
And also, Galactus's foot did not look exciting either.
No,
I know
proportions
foot,
and speaking, they say that Galactus can assume any size, but why that size for Earth then?
Because he was still bigger than the buildings.
Yeah, what's the value of that?
Like, he was basically just the size, looking like Tien Mut's Jr. Tien Mut had a kid.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard for me to make sense of. Ooh, excuse me. You can cut that out. But it's going to be hard for me to make sense of why they chose that size for him. This one is definitely looks like the next Marvel flop in my book.
The sun is getting me. It's like, I'm disappearing. I'm Sue Storm. Anyway.
I see.
No, it's okay. I think we're about done anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, ending on a more positive note.
Well, with the resolution for the movie, how do you feel about how they resolved the conflict?
I don't feel like I think that's my only beef that, again, makes me go maybe from a 9 to an 8 was I hate that, I keep wanting to call her Contessa. I hate that Valentina made it out. Oh, also, side note that we talked about the other day. They're in New York. Where was Daredevil? Where was Kingpin shaking in his boots before going into the void and having to see his daddy in his horror room? That's the thing that always triggers my soul with Marvel is like, where are all the other New York residents? Where was Spider-Man? Where is everybody when everything is going to crap?
You know what, though? There's been speculation about the Avengers Tower becoming the Fantastic Four's tower. The fact that they were watching the ship come in from here, I wonder if that's the tie to bringing the Fantastic Four to that tower and the Fantastic Four eventually turning that into the Baxter Building here. Side string.
Sidebar.
Yeah, side by
yeah.
String.
So anyway, had an alarm go off. But anyway, yeah, so I didn't love how everything, quote unquote, resolved. The fact that Valentina survived, the fact that they just let her roll with, thank you. Mm-hmm. The fact that they just let her roll with having taken credit for everything after all of that madness. Also, I need the context for this conversation that Bucky had with Falcon, aka the new Cap. Like, I need to know how that conversation went. And also, I need to see Falcon clown Bucky for that interview talking about, it's concerning and worrying, and especially worrying. So we want to get to the bottom of this worrying matter.
Yeah.
That was excellent, and I would love to see Sam, clown him about that. But also, I need to know how Sam went about saying no.
And I want to know who Sam's new team is. Is the Red Hulk on his team? Is the Green Hulk on his team?
Oh, that was the other thing. Who's president? Because Contessa in her, I keep on her Contessa, Valentina in her whole little speech was talking about, not only did she say S.H.I.E.L.D., but she said our last president turned into a bright red, situation. So that would be the vice president now.
So who was vice president in Winter Soldier? I mean, in Brave New World. We'll have to figure that out. I don't think they ever addressed it or they ever showed a vice president.
Yeah. So who's the vice president? It
probably doesn't matter because we haven't cared who the president was any other time in the MCU. Secret Invasion is the only other time
the only reason why we care is because it was mentioned.
Yeah.
That the former president. And that's the only reason why. Like, we probably wouldn't have cared about the president if she had not explicitly said our last president.
Yeah. But I think she only said our last president because we saw him lose his presidency and get locked up.
Which makes me still curious about.
Did they send him to the raft?
Yeah. And then that was when they went to go see him and was like, oh, isn't this interesting? I put you here, now you put me here. And
yeah.
Anyway, so how did you feel about how it was resolved?
How it was resolved? Honestly, the whole ending just didn't excite me. Like,
it was calamity.
Like, it was happening, but it wasn't like, oh wow, oh that's incredible. Like the first Avengers, the ending was incredible.
Yeah, it made Infinity your heart swell.
The ending was incredible. I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't know how it was going to happen. Here, I was definitely like, I don't know how these bands are going to stop Sentry with anything other than some sort of conversation or talk. I already expected it to be a conversation or talk.
But also, I was like, can anybody stop Sentry at this point? Because then I was like, okay, thinking about the original Avengers, how would Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, how would any of them have stopped him either?
I believe that's how it ended in the comics each time too. I think it was always somebody having a conversation with him that made him come to his senses and stop doing whatever he's doing because he's just that powerful.
So Yelena, again, channeling Natasha, like, had the sun's getting real low, big guy with Sentry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the whole team came and doing a group hug, like a group hug being the resolution.
That is the other thing. That was what I came out of the theater saying yesterday, was that I loved that through line message of it takes unity, it takes us to get through darkness. It takes community, it takes family, it takes togetherness to get through the darkness, to get through dark times, to become whole again. And that it was a big group hug. I'm trying not to cuss so that we can have this drink get monetized.
And redemption. It's a redemption story too.
Redemption and the fact that togetherness, love, care, second chances, forgiveness was a big through line in that big hug of, yes, the messed up. Yes, it's been hard, but excuse me. And also we're completely unrelated, but related. We're watching a series called Dope Thief, and one of the characters said something because she had experience being both a prosecutor and a defense attorney, and what she said was, what she realized is she saw people as both victims and villains, and that everybody was a victim of someone or something, and that's what led them to who or what they are today, and that's where her compassion came from. And I feel like that the Thunderbolts echoed that each of them had something that was a trigger point that led them to being who they are. Yelena being plucked up as a child and sent through the Red Room, Ghost being born and having these issues, and so becoming a lab rat for essentially a man being born a lab rat and having to just exist in that. And then John Walker having his own baggage and then deciding to participate in Super Soldier Serum, and kind of a smaller version of Sentry, essentially having his dark side and the Super Soldier Serum having enhanced all parts of him, the parts of him that believed in good and wanted to be the good old homie, and then the dark side as well. Just all of these components, everybody there having had some dark part. And then of course, Bob, seeing those his split literally become so inflamed that it became life-threatening. I loved that was the through line, that it takes togetherness, that together that we can do it. And that, again, kind of that going back to that old school love conquers all ideology, like that felt really apropos, especially given what we're living in today as the U.S. Like, that was just really comforting to see a group full of villains or anti-heroes having a redemption arc and also, for all intents and purposes, having no reason to have fealty to Sentry and deciding, no man left behind.
Yeah, I mean,
even though he was still new to the crew, that they still were like, no man left behind. This wasn't your fault. You didn't choose this. Like, yeah, you chose to do this clinical trial study, but you really had no idea what you were getting into. And the reason why you said yes to it was because, yes, you were already hurt. You were already going through the things. And I love that was what brought through. And then also
especially for villains to be the ones to be showing compassion and love.
And then the comedic levity of him being like, wait, what happened? Especially for John Walker, of all people, being the one to be like, yeah, you did great in there. And he was like, what? Did great in where?
Yeah.
Who? Like, that was hysterical. And then also another hilarious moment that I really appreciated was Alexi tearing through a pillow while everybody else is like breaking real stuff that's flying through this room come to life, and Alexi's like, demon pillow, shredding it apart. Like, everybody else is actually doing like some real work. Ghost actually comes in and stops Yelena and Bob from being choked to death, and he's just like, pillow tearing apart. That was hilarious.
Yeah, he's interesting comic relief.
Yeah.
Some of it is borderline, like, okay, this
a little corny.
Can't be corny.
Yeah.
But
like, he gives a little bit of that Guardians campiness where I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost Ragnarok campy, but like Ragnarok campy kind of worked, and his campy is almost like, I could do it a little less.
And then considering all the characters in the movie, I mean, he's the only real levity that you really get. I mean, Yelena has her jokes, she has her jokes, but it's dry.
Yeah.
So it's different. I guess he's the one that can make it so that you can bring kids or something. So there's strategic choices for that. I wouldn't have put him on the team, but
in the limo when he was like, defense systems, and it's the music and the lights, and Yelena's like, who are you driving? Like, what? Yeah. He's like, it's bulletproof. Okay, semi-bulletproof. Bruh. All in all, yes, I'm glad we saw it. Glad we saw it twice. Would definitely see it again. I feel like it's going to be like Ragnarok and will grow on me.
Yeah.
I'm definitely...
Yeah, I mentioned
these are the only characters where I'm like, okay, yes, I would be excited to see Bob and Yelena. And I think Ghost is still the only one that I'm like, they have not really written you strong enough for me to feel attached to you.
Yeah, I'm curious, but not attached.
Yeah, but everybody else... Red Guardian, Yelena, Bucky, Bob. I'm just like, yes, when do I see you again? Y'all are hysterical. This is great. I like the synergy of this team.
It's a great team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's meaning the balance of the team. They did a good job. So, all in all.
And if they can tighten up Ghost's character, then I would like to see more of Ghost. Because I think Ghost can do more.
Do you think they would do another Thunderbolts movie? Have a reason to?
Based on the slate that they have, I don't feel like there would need to be. I guess the only reason why, I don't know. I don't think another movie, but I think we'd see them show up again, since we know, like your theory about them seeing the Fantastic Four shuttle from the Avengers Tower and that potentially becoming the Baxter Building. I think that's the only reason why we might see them again, because then there would have to be the whole, like, okay, well, how do you guys wind up not being in this building anymore and it becoming their building?
Yeah, I feel like in Secret Wars, some of them have to show up. I don't know who. I feel like...
Well, I feel like they have to show up again. Yeah, you're right. Because especially if they're the new Avengers, I feel like they have to show up. They have to
meet up with the other Avengers.
Right. And we would have to have this reckoning with Sam about who isn't. I also thought that was funny that throughout the credits, they kind of did those magazine covers poking fun at them and especially back John and forth.
On the shield is the horse with the saddle.
Going back and forth with like, we support it. Those aren't my Avengers. And how that kind of mirrors some modern day stuff, like not my president, how they were like, not my Avengers, not my, like how the different headlines and articles. Like, I thought that was really cool too. But yes, I do think we have to see them again. I'm sorry I cut you off. I was excited.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm eager to see it for my next watch.
Yeah,
it must be good enough that I'm eager for a third watch, because there are definitely details I want to catch.
So that's the...
I think it went down water hose though after talking about it.
Yeah, so that's the water hose initial reaction.
So does your score still stay at a 9?
I think it's an 8.
Yeah, think it dropped to an 8?
Yeah. But that's still strong.
That's very strong.
But I think, just pointing out some of those things, like, again, like, I did not love the depiction of Wade. And then, just some of those other moments that were just a little...
What do we give Brave New World when we came out? I think it was like a 7 or a 6.5.
I think I gave it a 5.
Ooh, we have the video, don't we? I might have to post that after this.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't make sense chronologically.
Yeah.
It might still be the move. Okay. Cool.
Well, this has been Cinesuite. This is a segment we'll be doing on the channel, and it'll be vlog style like a lot of the other stuff that we do. And should it become something more, then maybe it'll have its own channel. But for now, Cinesuite is just going to be us talking about all of our favorite things cinema related, be it movies, TV, and even some music videos or long visualizers.
Short films, shorts, anything that involves some form of cinematography.
Yeah,
we've been talking about doing it for years too, so I'm glad we got
that. And then the goodies that we're eating today, it was Skinny popcorn, the sweet and salty, vegan, gluten-free, because that's how our chosen we eat predominantly plant-based. So that was our...
And gluten-free for her primarily, and I try to ride with her on the gluten-free as often as possible.
Yes. So that was today's snack. So we'll also talk about that in different videos. Usually, sometimes it'll be stuff that we made, like especially if it's something that if we're watching at home, it'll be a homemade something. And then when we're not at home, likely it will be something like this that we've gotten out.
Give myself a little junky treat.
Yeah, because, balance. And as you saw, we had a workout this morning. Or if you skip to this part in the vlog, then you didn't see. But yes, we worked out this morning, and
my first workout in a long time. Proper workout. I needed. I used to be a gym junkie, so felt good.
Proud of you.
Thank you, baby.
So yes, that is our Thunderbolts asterisk.
So initial. Did they leave the asterisk at the end, or did they still have the asterisk?
I think it was still there. And then my takeaway of what the asterisk meant at the end was the fact that that's not actually their name, that they didn't really have a name. It was just the joke of that's what they decided to call themselves because of Yelena's team, and that became the running joke, was that it was based off, like, the whole time it was supposed to be a joke. Like, it was never supposed to be serious. And then Alexi ran with it being serious.
Mm-hmm. And then since they couldn't do since they couldn't use the name Avengers, it makes it make even more sense.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, absolute winning experience still. Even as Nate, I want to see it again. Yeah. So that's a great sign for it. Let's see if the score changes over time.
Yeah. And again, it might be a Ragnarok, and we might find that we love it. The more opportunity we have to bask in it, and by the time it makes it on Disney Plus, then we can watch it on our own time. Because that's what happened with Ragnarok. It was being able to have access to it and watch it again and again and again, and it just became funnier and funnier and funnier. And then also the characters, seeing them develop more and seeing them in other movies, it made us love Ragnarok even more.
Yeah.
And then also just, we love those characters anyway. Like, anytime Thor, Loki, and Hulk are showing up, like, I love Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner. I absolutely love him as Bruce Banner. He
owns the character.
He has owned that character so well. He has enmeshed Banner and Hulk so well. I just love his rendition of Bruce Banner. Want to see more of him. Need more of him. Perfection.
Now, is there any other Marvel villain that you think, just before we go, any other Marvel villain that you think would have been a better replacement for somebody on the team?
For the chemistry they had, no. Like, I think I genuinely enjoyed how they worked together and the story that was able to be created through this. And especially since I've been screaming about, I want Natasha back, the fact that Yelena is still keeping a strong hold, and the fact that ScarJo has not completely said that she is done with the MCU, and that Black Widow is allegedly, yes, done, but that that the door is open. I definitely 100% wanted Yelena in there, and as a part of an appendage to Yelena, Red Guardian, I loved that Bucky was in there, especially because after seeing him get so much character development through these latest Marvel projects. Like after seeing him, like even though the TV series wasn't great,
It wasn't their fault.
The fact, yeah, it wasn't his fault. But the fact that we still got to get more of his context and be curious about Bucky even more. I was glad that he was in it. And then again, glad to see Taskmaster again. Didn't love that it was one and done and died so quickly.
I would like to see her do more.
And then even though Ghost, it felt like she didn't get fleshed out enough. I love the potential of Ghost and her powers and the fact that I feel like she can, and I hope they will allow her to get and do more and develop more. Like, especially since they threw in the fact that she's like, yeah, I can't hold it longer than a minute. Like, I felt like that set up for them having their practice montage and development, and the next time we see them all, they're all like leveled up
gonna do something,
in some sort of way.
Beat that limitation.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think all in all, I was happy with the villains chosen. I felt like they felt like the most apropos, the most relevant, because I feel like they also all fit for what was done. Like Blonsky wouldn't have fit. Like I felt like that would have just taken out of context and out of the energy that was established in the movie, and how everything almost, now that I think about it, putting in the context of Blonsky, everything was almost sort of like, even though it wasn't, everything was almost sort of grayscale or like in similar color. Like outfits were all a similar color, were all more of a muted, darker color, kind of fitting to them as villains. Everybody was relatively the same size, similar height. Like I think Red Guardian was the biggest out of everybody, but that was also to exaggerate the fact that he hadn't been taking care of himself and that he was unwell. So I think thinking of it that way too, I think it was perfect, the group that they had.
I heard somebody call them the mental health Avengers. So
the mentally challenged
thing, you got two people who are depressed. Bucky just he's a mental case.
He's a basket case. Ghost, this is back and forth.
Case, but I guess everybody really is. I mean, Iron Man was a mental case. Captain America,
was constantly struggling.
Complex.
Yeah,
he was constantly out of time and out of place, but he seemed to handle it well.
But not like. I think he was on the surface handling it well, but I think some of those moments where we saw him just be like, "Yo, like this just is not."
Yeah,
I don't know what to do.
Well, and he left. He said, "You know what?" Yeah. At the end of the Endgame, he's like, "Okay, I'm done.
I've done everything that I came to do, and I want my life now."
Yeah. So there was some sort of conflict. So
also interesting, after having watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again, the fact that he went back and experienced his life, and we're learning all this stuff about time and changing things. That was technically a new timeline then too. The fact that he went and had that life. Anyway. Not getting into that. A whole bunch of
interesting things.
We didn't try to close out this video
12 times.
12 times.
So do we just slap the phone? Is that it?
Yeah. Peace, love, and fairy dust. Holla at y'all. All right, quick add in.
Oh, you ready for it now?
Yeah.
So the thought is, since we saw the Fantastic Four at the end of this movie, and we've been wondering how they're going to tie them into the MCU and all of this, what if the reason they showed the Beast looking kind of comic-y or cartoonish at the end of the Marvels was to kind of be just like the Thing. The Thing looks kind of cartoonish and whatever. What if they're in the same universe and that's where we're going to find Monica Rambeau next?
Yeah. Also, that wink wink was because also, Marvel, what if? The show. Anyway, yes, that is.
Oh, did I say what if?
Another working theory. Yeah, he said, what if? Hey. And I wink winked at the camera, so I had to give the context. Oh, his backpack is fire.
It's natural. Oh, that is fire.
So yes, another post-credit scene. Cinesweet style.
Ding ding.
Okay, so I was just confused. My husband just told me that his conscience is a woman, and I was all kinds of confused. And then I realized he was talking about me.
And then that voice that's in my head when you're not around now. Because it's using your voice now.
Cackle, cackle. So the vlog continues. We did something that tech people should never do. Yeah. And we left an SD card in the laptop, and we're mobile with it, and it took on a different shape. So now we're heading to Best Buy to get a new SD card. And actually, he needed this SD card anyway, this type of SD card anyway. So
no, they don't sell that kind here.
Oh,
so
well,
no, there's no plus.
Okay, there's no plus.
There's no.
I get accountability for when you oops.
Yeah, my bad.
When the oops
and I knew it before I put it in the bag. I said I need to stop doing this. I'm gonna pay for it one day, and I did it to a hard drive cable recently too. So
he did, and then ran off with mine.
Borrowed.
Ran off with.
Borrowed.
What was that? Permanently borrowed? Yeah. AKA stole, ran off with. Like I said, same words. Gotcha. Okay.
I know we're going to the creamery, right?
Gotcha. We can if you want to. Gotcha.
That water tank back there looks dope too.
So after going to Best Buy, we made a pit stop at Five Below. Best Buy was a bust. They didn't have what we needed, but we stopped in Five Below because I've been curious about resistance bands for the Pilates and calisthenics workouts that I've been doing. And the last time we were in Five Below, I had remembered seeing that they had a little exercise section where we also think is cool, like accessibility. The fact that for $5, there's certain exercise equipment that you can get. So if you really balling on a budget, like I love that that's making that accessible. So we're gonna find out if these 3 resistance bands, it's got the light, medium, and difficult, light, medium, and heavy. We're gonna see if it's worth the worth. And yeah.
He's a bully.
The goose?
Yeah, he just came and ran through the whole thing just to scare all the other birds away real quick.
Geese are known to be gangsters.
Yo, he really... Look at him, watch him. He about to bully them again.
Geese are known to be aggressors and low-key, high-key bullies.
See how he just snapped at them?
Mm-hmm.
He's a
goose. What was that?
Are the shakes that good? I have to look at the menu to see. I don't remember.
As we pull in, he's like, well, are they that good?
I can't remember.
The debate,
Last time we had one of these was...
we got rained out at Artscape.
That's what I was trying to remember. It was this specific one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have footage from
flashback. Pulled up inside of Penn Station. It is pouring outside. Hiding out from the rain. Artscape, we tried. Insert.
Yep, we gonna do it?
Flashback.
Cool, baby.
So that's what happened last time.
Storyteller mama.
And because I'm impatient while he orders his milkshake, or looks up what it's called.
Did you keep that artist name?
What was the artist name?
From Five Below.
Oh yeah, it's in my Apple Music. I took a screenshot.
The Catherine said, what they say right there.
Stay. Okay. 1 second. There we go. So because I'm being impatient. I'm guessing the lightest one, the lightweight. He's over here mooing.
That's not me, that's okay. All natural agave toppings.
Got a little interesting texture to it.
Dairy-free shakes, there we go.
Ooh. It feels like it's real deal.
This is mango.
Yes, it's got some. And this is the light one. I think I'm about to be starting off the lightest one, boy.
I'm be you for a day. I'm gonna do hibiscus mango.
So, what I would do?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm talking all in. You doing a video outside.
It's okay.
I'm homogenized.
He is so problematic. Anyway, this is just us. I'm sitting here running my face, and he's sitting here running his face too.
Absolutely.
This is regular.
Not paying each other any attention as we're paying each other complete total attention.
So
did you want anything? Or am I just
no, I think I'm okay. If we're gonna stop by then I'll just wait for that. Unless because I think isn't their thing almond something or whatever? Like their milk, cream. Yeah, the whipped cream. The most fun part about it isn't me friendly.
Some almond whipped cream. Alright, well, I'm just gonna wrap it.
I'm sure.
Let's go to one place. Okay. One place tonight. I'll be back here one day. I'm in no rush.
As I have sat here for 5 minutes trying to
fumbling.
Trying to put this back in his bag. Forget it. It's just going in the box. It's going in the box. It didn't need the plastic anyway.
That's cute. That's adorable.
Alright, I'm gonna try. Even though I should leave this in its plastic. Well, it's coming out anyway because I gotta work out.
Another Mexican place.
Oh yeah, it's on the border. Yes, because Cinco de Mayo is upon us. Okay, I don't know that I feel a difference.
That looks like more of a chain though, right?
Maybe this is the same. I don't know. Maybe this is a little different. I worked out today and have been working out recently, so maybe I'm just used to. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, it was Five Below. It's a start. It's just a thought. Y'all have a good day. Shout out to Bo.
I mean, you only got one thing, so it can't quite be a haul, right?
Yeah, no, this was not a haul. This was just trying this out. And now the camera angle is going on.
Well, people do mini hauls. You can do a micro haul.
I don't support hauls anyway. I try not to do hauls. We're trying not to be pro just consumerism for consumerism's sake.
Yeah, I'm on the stop my social political commentary right there.
Skirt. Stop laying on your horn.
That ain't me.
I know.
I was just saying it.
Oh, yes, for the record. It would have been much louder with you. Anyway, while the camera slings all the way to the side, y'all saw my tummy. Yes, it's getting in shape. But that's really not what I'm doing it for. Like, I really am so excited to be on my Black Widow energy. I'm so serious. Stay tuned. Y'all gonna see me flipping and stuff. With all sorts of cool stuff.
wrong? No, that's interesting.
A1.
Steak sauce?
Mm-hmm. You're trying to see it in the light. You know it's good when you gotta sing and dance while eating it. So we are also celebrating. We have officially crossed the 500 subscriber mark. Our view time is up, and sir,
I was just
yeah.
I'm gonna remind you.
Our views, our watch time hours are up. We are connecting with more and more of you beautiful humans, beautiful people, and we just want to say thank you for joining us on this HFR journey of all of our wild K-Cuppery, Baby Go energy and art and love and community. And just want to say thank you. Thank you for 800 subscribers and joining our journey to monetization as we just see what shakes out with
keep experimenting and exploring.
Yeah, and having fun. So cheers to us, cheers to you, cheers to the journey.
Yeah. Trying to drink it now.
Very funny. The funny part is we always, do a little clink. So I don't know what glitched out there.
Yeah, I was looking at all, I was being stimulated by all the people moving by. It was in and out.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been a beautiful day.
It has been. It's been a long one for me.
Yeah.
That's why too. I think I'm.
Yeah. Happy Happy Thunderbolts, send a sweet day. This is non-alcoholic, so it's not even that. And I only have sip. Well, bye. You over here sounding like his. We heard somebody real loud, and so we both tried to see down from the balcony to see where it was, and me not remembering that there is glass. The balcony is made of glass. I just straight head into the glass, straight forehead into the glass, trying to see down. Oh, now he's still laughing.